is the line. Anything below that is a low blow. If you're hitting the pants, the blow is not legal.
If he's a true religious man, he should come out publicly. I'll have more respect for him if he come out publicly and say the truth. I cheated. There's no different from him to a drugs cheat.
Tony Bellew has heard enough of the low blow sob stories. The former cruiserweight world champion isn't pulling any punches when it comes to setting the record straight on the first fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois. In Bellew's eyes, the result was definitive. Usyk beat Dubois fair and square, no controversy, no asterisks, no excuses. The idea that Dubois was robbed is, in Bellew's words, laughable. Usyk's victory wasn't a result of dirty tactics or...
Yeah, I'm ready one fight and tomorrow. And the rematch. And the street fight. I'm ready.
Bare knuckle.
Tomorrow, maybe right now. Not boxing.
Referee error. It was clean, clinical and brutally efficient. Bellew isn't interested in revisionist history. Dubois wasn't cheated, he was simply outclassed. End of story. But while Bellew speaks with certainty, Peter Fury, the man now guiding Dubois, sounds far less convinced. Listening to Fury, it's clear he's caught between hope and hard truths. On one hand, he wants to back his fighter and believe in the growth Dubois has made since the first bout. On the other, he knows the mountain in front of them hasn't shrunk. Deep down, Fury...
You land a shot on here, this is a good shot, it's a body shot. The referee didn't do that. The bottom part of the glove was on the actual shorts, on his scrotum area, really quite low, too low really. So it was a legitimate low blow. Had Usyk been told that's not a low blow...
recognises the reality. Usyk isn't just skilled, he's a master of the craft, a technician, a magician. Against heavy hitters like Dubois, Usyk doesn't run, he dances, he dissects, he dominates. This isn't just an opponent you outlast, it's a puzzle you try to survive if you're lucky. Over in Usyk's camp, his manager Aegis Klimas isn't exactly playing it quiet either. Klimas has already started talking like the UK is Usyk's second home, and frankly, he's not wrong. Usyk's popularity...
Low. So it's up to the referee to rule that. We don't know where he ruled the line in the dressing room.
Okay.
At the rules meeting, the referee has said he ruled that a low blow. I don't know why he didn't take a point off though, that was odd. Or even two, because he was warned...
Speaks volumes. Fans there appreciate real warriors, fighters who travel to foreign soil, take on the best and never make excuses. That's exactly what Usyk has done time and again. He's earned the respect of audiences across borders. So if the rematch happens in Britain, it won't be neutral ground. It will be yet another venue where Usyk has fans in his corner, because he's earned them. Meanwhile, Dubois continues to battle not just his opponents, but a lingering reputation, that of a quitter. It's a shadow that has followed him since his loss to Joe Joyce and resurfaced after his collapse against Usyk. Yes,
19th is a chance for Daniel Dubois to go down in British sporting folklore and to go and do the business, reverse that.
Dubois has rallied support from many corners of the UK. He's saying the right things, training harder, looking sharper, but let's not kid ourselves. Perception matters. And when it comes to pressure, scrutiny and expectation, this rematch won't be any easier. Stepping in with his usual diplomatic polish is Eddie Hearn. The matchroom boss isn't one to stir the pot unnecessarily, but even he can't hide where he stands. Publicly, Hearn keeps it neutral. He talks about punchers' chances and exciting fights, but read between the lines and it's clear. He knows what's really going on. He knows boxing isn't fought on paper. He knows Usyk's inactivity might be a minor factor, but class doesn't rust. And Usyk isn't just a class fighter. He's elite. This isn't some battle between rising prospects. This is the same Usyk who outboxed Anthony Joshua twice. The same man who stood in front of Zeri Chuking.
He's a hard fighter to beat. And I think he'll learn from the mistakes he made in the first fight against Usyk, and it will give him a hard fight. Look, he has the tools to win.
Front of power punchers and didn't flinch. Dubois, despite his physical tools and training, is still the fighter who froze under the lights the first time. Yes, the rematch could be thrilling, but thrilling doesn't always mean competitive. And when it comes to experience, skill and composure, Hearn knows who the real favourite is. Then there's Alex Krasiuk, Usyk's long-time promoter, who isn't sugarcoating anything either. In a recent statement, Krasiuk laid out the brutal truth that many insiders whisper but rarely say aloud. Dubois may be young, yes, but youth doesn't count for much when you've already been broken at the top level. What's the point of having potential if you crumble under real pressure? Usyk.
Now, I believe Usyk has more fans in UK than any of the other UK fighter. And I think Wembley was the very good choice to do it.
At 37, is sharper than ever. He's climbed every mountain boxing has to offer. Undisputed cruiserweight champion, unified heavyweight champion, and conqueror of Anthony Joshua twice. He's mentally dismantled every challenger who thought they had the answer. Dubois, by contrast, is still figuring out how to tread water. Usyk, meanwhile, is surfing through elite competition. This rematch won't be about age. It will be about levels. And right now, the gap between them isn't physical. It's psychological, tactical, and spiritual. For Dubois, there's no elevator to Usyk's level. There are only hard rounds and harder lessons. If he tries to skip steps, punishment awaits. Still, not everyone is writing
Machine.
Self-confidence will be...
And time waits for no man, as the saying goes. I just think that this is a fight it's exciting. It's a good fight. You've got to make Usyk the favourite, but it's a fight that Daniel Dubois can definitely win.
I don't just yet. Enter Amir Khan. The former light welterweight king still believes there's something in Dubois. He sees promise. He sees power. He's called Dubois a beast. But the question is, against whom? Mit your opposition? Heavy bags? Because when it counted, when the man standing across from him was Usyk, Dubois didn't just lose. He folded. Fast. Yes, maybe Dubois picked up some lessons that night, but what did he actually learn? How to throw a better jab? How to quit with more dignity next time? Lessons only matter if you have the mind and the heart to apply them when it counts. And let's be clear, Usyk hasn't stayed static. He's better now, smarter, hungrier, still the most dangerous man in the division. Not because of
task, but he's definitely the man that can go through with it. He's done the work, he's gone through the pedigree, and he's a certified champion. So, I think, he has big hopes on doing it. He's going to do it.
Brute strength, but because he sees what others miss and exploits what others ignore. If Dubois is coming for redemption, he better bring more than heart. He'll need clarity. He'll need perfection. Because anything less, and he's walking back into another calculated, merciless storm. While Daniel Dubois has been rehearsing confidence for the cameras, Oleksandr Usyk has been moving 4 steps ahead, mentally breaking him down before the first bell even rings. Sure, Dubois has physical tools, but tools in the wrong hands are useless. Amir Khan may be holding out hope for a miracle, but Usyk doesn't relate.
From the UK. When Lewis gives his nod of approval, it means something, and Usyk, he's done everything right. Lennox knows what it takes to conquer across weight divisions. He respects fighters who face challenges head-on, who don't whine about low blows or search for...
It's a good time. I mean, a little bit of inactivity because of the fight falling through against Joseph Parker, but, it's exciting. And I think...
for excuses. Usyk is that kind of champion. Undeniable, relentless, and composed. Lennox sees Usyk as a man who breaks his opponents mentally before they even know it's happening. Dubois, for all his size and strength, doesn't radiate greatness. He radiates doubt. That's what Lennox sees. Usyk, on the other hand, has the pedigree, the polish, and the proven resume. That's why Lewis doesn't view this rematch as a question of if, but when. And if Lennox Lewis was direct, Tyson Fury is downright dismissive. Fury has already meant a match as a question of if, but when. And if Lennox Lewis was direct, Tyson Fury is downright dismissive. Fury has already mentally moved past Dubois. For him, the future of the division involves Usyk, not Dubois. He sees Dubois as little more than a pit stop on the road to legacy. And then I'll take that off him too, Fury says, brushing aside Dubois.
The shot on here, this is a good shot, it's a body shot. The referee didn't do that. Bottom part of the glove was on the actual shorts on his scrotum area, really quite low, too low really. So it was a legitimate low blow. Had Usyk been told that's not a low blow,
like a minor task. That attitude tells you everything about how the heavyweight elite views Dubois, as a footnote, not a threat. And they may not be wrong. Usyk already humbled Dubois once. The idea that Dubois will suddenly evolve into an unstoppable force feels more like fantasy than fact. This isn't anime. There are no sudden power-ups. Usyk's dominance isn't myth or hype. It's earned, built through experience, iron will, and world-class preparation. Even Simon Jordan, approaching the situation from a business and image perspective, sees the imbalance. Jordan is known for cutting through noise, and when he puts Usyk and Dubois side by side, the contrast is sharp. He tries to be fair, but even his framing speaks volumes. Usyk is described as mature, wise, and polished, a class act. Dubois? He's still growing, still a work in progress. That's the real gap. One is a complete fighter. The other is a fighter still under construction. And when someone like Dubois steps into the ring with someone like Usyk, the flaws don't just appear. They get ruthlessly exposed. Usyk doesn't need to brawl to win. He makes you miss. He makes you panic. Then he makes you quit. This is the same man who dismantled Anthony Joshua's confidence over 24 rounds. What do we really expect him to do to Dubois, who already folded once?
He's a class act, a mature individual because he's older and wiser, comes from a completely different background. But Daniel Dubois is growing into himself. This will be one hell of a fight. This will be a proper fight, like all of the Usyk fights have been.
Under similar pressure. Yes, the fight will be compelling, because Usyk makes every fight compelling. He turns routine defenses into artistry, but if Dubois can't find his rhythm early, it's hard to imagine anything other than another surgical dismantling. As always, Carl Froch walks a strange tightrope between honesty and diplomacy. He calls Daniel Dubois a different machine now.
Tony Bellew has heard enough of the low-blow sob stories. The former cruiserweight world champion
reverse that result.
Isn't pulling any punches when it comes to setting the record straight on the first fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois. In Bellew's eyes, the result was definitive. Usyk beat Dubois fair and square, no controversy, no asterisks, no excuses. The idea that Dubois was robbed is, in Bellew's words, laughable. Usyk's victory wasn't a result of dirty tactics or referee error. It was clean, cunning.
He's a hard fighter to beat, and I think he'll learn from the mistakes he made in the first fight against Usyk, and it will give him a hard fight. Look.
Cool and brutally efficient. Bellew isn't interested in revisionist history. Dubois wasn't cheated, he was simply outclassed. End of story. But while Bellew speaks with certainty, Peter Fury, the man now guiding Dubois, sounds far less convinced. Listening to Fury, it's clear he's caught between hope and hard truths. On one hand, he wants to back his fighter and believe in the growth Dubois has made since the first bout. On the other, he knows the mountain in front of them hasn't shrunk. Deep down, Fury recognises the reality. Usyk isn't just skilled, he's a master of the craft, a technician, a magician. Against heavy hitters like Dubois, Usyk doesn't run, he dances, he dissects, he dominates. This isn't just an opponent.
Right now, I believe Usyk has more fans in UK than any of the other UK fighter. And I think
it's a puzzle
Wembley
you try to
was
survive
a
if you're
very
lucky.
good choice.
Over in Usyk's camp, his manager Aegis Klimas isn't exactly playing it quiet either. Klimas has already started talking like the UK is Usyk's second home, and frankly,